Hello, I'm Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, are you taking full advantage of the new tax laws? We've got tax tips for 2011. Bundle up. We're going walking in a winter wonderland. Plus, we'll follow doctor's orders to learn the latest medical news. And how about saving some money on your medications?
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair. Join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. They say nothing's certain except death and taxes. Maybe they should add and changes to the tax laws too. Jim Lineweaver's here to lay down the law about the changes that you need to prepare for as you prepare for your 2011 taxes. Jim's a certified financial planner with the Lineweaver Financial Group. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
My pleasure.
Jim, so lots of changes over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, and now some of them are changing back. Fill us in.
They are, yeah. What happened in like the 11th hour of last year, they changed and repealed a lot of the taxes, so it became more favorable for everybody for 2011 and 2012. But unfortunately, every good thing usually comes to an end. And at the end of 2012, everything can revert back to what we had prior to 2001. So there's some big changes. One of the biggest ones is dealing with capital gains issues. Because what ends up happening is right now, if you're in a 15% tax bracket or less and you sell any capital appreciated assets, so it could be like stock or mutual fund or something, you're going to pay zero taxes on that gain, as long as it doesn't kick you out of that bracket. So people have to be careful of that. And if you're in the 25% tax bracket or above, it's only 15%. It's some of the lowest capital gains rates we've had in our history.
So capital gains is good, and they've left the law like that for now.
Yeah, and for next year. And just think about year-end tax planning. If you want it, you can spread some of it out over this year and next year, but the net result of the overall tax you pay, exactly the same.
Gift taxes, what's happening there?
That's big. This is what really people that are wealthy need to consider, because they can gift up to $5 million out of their estate. And because
so that thing about the $13,000
well, that applies too. That's over and above that. So they can not only gift $5 million for estate tax purposes and get it out of their estate. What they can also do is $13,000 per year per person. So a husband and a wife could give an additional $26,000 per year and not have to pay any taxes on that as well.
Anything we should know, special tax laws on our IRAs?
You should, and this is what's important. By year-end, a lot of things, like when you're dealing with your 401k and profit sharing plans, things along that nature, they have to be payroll deducted. So make sure, if you want to, hit your limits. So if you're less than age 50, it's $16,500. If you're 50 and over, you can catch up to another $5,500, so you get to $22,000. And there's a special provision for people that are in 457 plans and deferred compensation. The 3 years prior to retirement, they can do an additional catch-up and get all the way to $33,000. And this is where people with vacation time and sick time that are going to be paid out to them, they can put that in there, not jump up a bracket, and get it all pre-tax.
Of course, if we don't make $33,000, it makes it harder to do that.
That could be a little harder, yeah.
That'd
be another show.
What about Roth IRAs? Any changes there?
There is. What happened is last year, if you converted a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, you could stretch the taxes out over a couple of years. Can't do that anymore. So for a lot of people, the conversion can still make sense because they lifted the ceiling. Used to be capped at about $100,000. Now Bill Gates can even roll over and convert his IRA to a Roth. But you can't stretch out the taxes anymore. It's got to be all paid into for 2011.
Bill, did you hear that? Okay. All right. Long-term care. Any benefits there? Uncle Sam still help us out?
Yeah, it does, because the care and expense is so big that every year they'll adjust some things for inflation. On average, it went up about 3%. And there's a scale that we have for your viewers. Depending on the premium that you're paying, these are the deductions that you could get off of your federal return, and they're 100% deductible against your state tax return.
December 31st is coming up. Any last-minute, really good tip for us?
Yeah, because a lot of teachers are maybe possibly losing some of their benefits. They can get $250 in by the end of the year as an expense for their students and get that written off against their tax return, but it's got to be done by December 31st of this year.
So if a teacher, lots of teachers I know are spending money out of their own pocket for supplies and staplers and paper and stuff like that the schools aren't paying for.
Yep.
You can deduct that?
Yes. So if they're doing anything for the next half of the year, get it into 2011, deduct $250.
All right. Now, any place we can go for more information, because all this is so important, and a lot of people just don't know it, and it's complicated.
They don't, and that's why we're having some free education programs. If your viewers would like to attend, they're going to be on Tuesday, December 6th at 6:30 p.m. in our Valley View office, and also Thursday, December 8th at 1 p.m. Just please call the number to reserve a spot.
And it says free up there. Is that accurate?
It's totally free, and we
All
even
right.
have appetizers and some drinks for them as well.
All right,
No
sounds
charge.
good. Maybe I'll even come. You
You're
said
more
the
than welcome.
appetizers. Okay, thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. All right, this holiday season, give yourself the gift of planning ahead for taxes. It'll make your new year a lot happier. For more information, give Jim a call. His number's up next.
Find out more by calling the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or visit www.lineweaver.net. But first, cities acquire their names from many sources. Cleveland, for example, was named to honor our founding father, Moses Cleveland. As we've scanned the country, we've come upon a town in Arizona called Show Low. Care to wager on how it got its name? We'll deal out the answer when we return.
Welcome to Breckenridge Village, a continuing care retirement community conveniently located in historic Willoughby, Ohio. Whether it's a luxury apartment, a spacious ranch home, or newly built brownstones, it's all here with the added security of knowing more care is available when you need it. Breckenridge Village offers an exciting and upbeat lifestyle, and the food is fabulous, and our staff makes you their #1 priority. Learn more about Breckenridge Village and come see our new Veal Wellness and Aquatic Center.
Show Low, Arizona was named by the luck of the draw. That is, the card draw used to pick the town's mayor. To discover which low card came out on top, just cut over to Show Low's Main Street, where the road sign reads, Deuce of Clubs.
We don't mean to be the Grinch who stole Christmas, but along with shopping and gift wrapping, 'tis the season to wrap your arms around holiday safety issues. Security expert Tim Dimoff has made a list of safety tips, and he recommends that you check it twice. Tim's with Sachs Consulting and Investigative Services. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. We want people out there shopping, but what do they need to keep in mind to be safe?
Well, the #1 thing is, don't look like a victim. Be in control of your environment. Lots of people, lots of things going on. Look around, know what's going on around you when you're pulling your wallet out or your purse and that. Be aware of what's people around you, and watch the crowds, watch people closing in on you in different things. And a lot of people are running back and forth to ATMs at the time. Use ATMs that you're comfortable with, that are your bank ATMs. And go to ATMs.
What's the difference? Why not just use a regular generic ATM or a different bank ATM?
Well, there's a lot of different things going on, but it's safer to use the bank ATMs, and I like people to use ATMs where there's security and there's cameras. And some of these ATMs that are out there, they're in remote locations or in corners of a building, and there's not a lot of safety and security. And also, those ATMs can electronically have other gadgets attached to them that leads to identity theft. So there's a whole technological problem there with going to these remote ATMs.
All right, so now I'm coming out of the store. I've got my arms filled with packages. Is there a problem with that?
Well,
Other than your back?
yeah. You're carrying a lot of packages, that leaves your pockets open, your purse easy to grab. You look more like a vulnerability, a victim. And it's good to, be careful you're not overloaded, and you're distracted and your purse is hanging down and, your wallet's hanging out of your pocket. So bottom line is, you can use those lockers, if you're in the malls and different things, or, lock your packages up in the trunk of your car, and, try not to overload yourself.
And if you're not out shopping, if you're just window shopping, whatever, don't carry cash. I assume don't carry your credit cards. Don't
Well,
make it worse than it needs to be.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's the holidays. People are going to carry more cash, and they're going to have their credit cards. But, pick and choose. If you're only going to use a couple credit cards, there's no reason to bring 18 credit cards, and the cash. If you are going to use cash, obviously do it. And maybe, like for the men, I tell them, carry your wallets in your front pockets, pickpockets, it's a lot easier to pickpocket when your wallets in the back. Put a rubber band around the wallet, and that helps it from not sliding out of your pocket. And keep an eyeball on anytime you're pulling a credit card out or a wallet out, keep your eye on that, on your wallet and credit card. Don't get distracted.
Read your statements afterwards. You've said that. Well, how does that help us?
Well, what you want to do is during the holidays, there's more activity going on with cash and credit cards. And what happens is you become a target, and the credit cards become targets. So you really want to monitor your statements and make sure you really did choose and buy those things with that credit card.
What about our homes? Holiday season, we're all having fun. Maybe we go on a vacation. Any way to make sure our home and our stuff in our home is protected?
Well, the number one thing is make it look like someone's living there. If you're going to go on vacation, you're going to be away. Make sure your newspaper and your mail is either picked up or canceled. Make sure your neighbors and your family check your house. We have people going away in the winter and they let the snow build up in the front on their porch and their driveway. Have your snow removed. Have timers on your lights. Put a timer on a TV and let it be on for a few hours. Up into the evening. But make it look like it's someone's there and living there.
Maybe have somebody stop by and turn the lights on, turn them off, water the plants, whatever.
Absolutely, have people visit it. Have your family check in on it. But I can't stress enough in the winter. Make sure you take care of the outside so it doesn't look like there's nobody there.
Thank you very much, Tim. All good advice. So the gift of feeling safe and secure is priceless. If you need more ideas on how to give yourself this gift, give Tim a call at 1-888-SACS. Yes. SACS. Yes. That's 1-888-722-7937. Or visit his website, www.sacs, cons, SACSCONS, consulting, sacsconsulting.com. sacsconsulting.com. We'll be right back.
Next, plant yourself in holiday splendor. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. The time is now to take full advantage of the new tax laws. So attend a free seminar presented by the Lineweaver Financial Group. The event will be held Tuesday, December 6th, and again Thursday, December 8th at the Lineweaver offices in Valley View. Reservations are required, so call 216-520-1711 to save your spot.
We may not like winter snow, but it's easy to fall for the winter show. This favorite event at the Cleveland Botanical Garden is a highlight of the holidays. Chef Tony Smoody and Cynthia Druckenbrod, I'm not talking too well today, they're here to tell us why they're sweet on this event. Tony's with Bon Appetit, and Cynthia is the Director of Horticulture at the Cleveland Botanical Garden. Thanks both for joining me today.
Thank you
for having us.
All right, so the Cleveland Botanical Garden will have all kinds of edible homes at home for us this year. Tell us about the gingerbread house displays.
Well, the gingerbread house displays are a real hit at Botanical Gardens. We have amateurs, professionals, and students, and even a house like this can be built there, but this is minor compared to what they have. It's all through the whole gardens, and it's beautiful.
And it smells great. Every time you walk through, it smells like you're in Candyland or Sugarland because it's so sweet and beautiful.
And it looks so good. I mean, you're right. This is like amateur compared to some of the houses that I've seen at the Botanical Gardens. I mean, they're so elaborate. It's like a real house. It's unbelievable.
That's right. And they're not all just houses. There are other scenes as well. I'm amazed at how creative a lot of Clevelanders are, and that we have had over 75 submitted. And it takes hours to see all the gingerbreads.
Are there any limits on the ingredients you use? How do you make those decisions?
Oh, you can use anything. A lot of people use any kind of candies, and you just stick them on with the royal icing as glue.
And we're showing some pictures. These are actual
Yes,
houses.
the
that have
actual
been
houses.
built.
It's hard to believe sometimes that they are made of candy because they look so realistic. But like I said, it smells so incredibly sugary and beautiful. There's a helicopter we had last year. It was so beautiful. But look at all the
Wow.
different candies.
That's really amazing.
And this is our tree that you're looking at. We'll have over 75 holiday trees, and they will range in size from 10 feet to over 20 feet tall. This is our large tree. It will be lit and decorated beautifully this year. And then the other trees are all decorated by area garden clubs, and they're in the theme of children's books.
And since it's at the Botanical Gardens, I assume you also have all kinds of plants there.
We do. We have a lot of plants. The traditional holiday plants will be beautiful. Poinsettias, different colors of those. Amaryllis, Christmas cactus. There's nothing that you will miss when you come to the Botanical Garden. And a menorah. We'll have a menorah that lights up
Very
every
nice.
night.
And there's other stuff there. You have a cafe, you have other things going on. Tell us just a little bit there.
We have a spice shop. Did you know that this year? We have
No,
a
I
spice
did not.
shop for children to learn a little bit more about where Christmas spices come from.
That's wonderful. Clark Hall, what goes on there?
That's going to be the place where all the musical groups will be performing. We'll have 3 performances a day on the weekends and between Christmas and New Year's. There'll be a lot going on, and of course you're surrounded by these huge Christmas trees that are decorated so beautifully.
And one thing I've always wanted to do, and I've been told never to do it, but I can do it on my show, is I'm going to take a bite of the house.
How is it?
Oh, it's good. But don't do this when you go to the Botanical Garden, or they will kill you. Okay.
We want our guests to see all the beautiful houses.
They have security cameras. Boom, they get you. The Cleveland Botanical Gardens Winter Show, a feast for your eyes and sometimes for your mouth. Thanks to Chef Tony and Cynthia for stopping by the Winter Show and tell us today.
To learn more, call the Cleveland Botanical Garden at 888-853-7091 or click to www.cbgarden.org. Next, a doctor's appointment.
It's time to get up and go. An exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello, I'm Mike Harbin from Breakout Fitness, and today we are going to work on our hips and our outer thighs, which will help us to have more balance and stability. This exercise is called side leg lifts, and all we're going to need is our chair. You ready to go, buddy?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to use the chair just for a little bit of balance. We're going to put all of our weight on our right foot, keeping your left leg straight, pointing your toes forward. We're simply going to raise our leg as high as we can and come back nice and slow. Make sure you breathe during this exercise. You don't want to use momentum to get the leg up, so make sure your hip does it, buddy. All right, keep your posture. Stand nice and tall. You don't want to lean. Make your body do the work. Okay, we can switch sides and we can do the opposite side.
Can I lean over like this?
No, that's not good. Keep good posture. 12 to 15 repetitions, 2 to 3 sets. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
We know that a heart attack needs immediate treatment, but so does a brain attack, which most of us know as a stroke. Dr. Patrick Schmidt is here to help us identify and respond to a stroke and to do it fast. Dr. Schmidt is the medical director for the Cleveland Clinic Rehabilitation Hospital at Euclid Hospital. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, nice to see you, Armin.
So tell us, what is a stroke or a brain attack?
It's an important issue. Stroke is a lack of perfusion or blood supply or oxygen to your brain. It's not that dissimilar from a heart attack. So the key issue here is that there's been a lot of changes that have occurred over the last few years about the immediate treatment and why that's so important.
Well, how do we know if we've had somebody that we're with has had a stroke?
It's a good question. There's a few things you should follow. There's a typical word FAST, F-A-S-T. That's a good thing to think about. The F stands for face. If you see any sort of facial weakness, or one side of the face looks a little different than the other side, or maybe a lot different, that's very important. If they have any arm weakness, if you have someone hold their arms up and there's what they call drift, or the arm isn't as strong, or maybe they can't move that arm or leg at all, then that's a sign. Their speech, if they have slurred speech. So those three things are very critical. Look at those three things. The time is also very important. And the reason why that's important is that it changes the potential outcome.
Is the first thing we do call 911 if we see
It
somebody
is,
with the...
definitely.
Even before we do anything, do you give a person an aspirin? I mean, is anything to
No,
do?
you shouldn't do the aspirin. You should initiate the process, call 911. That's very important because that process, that emergency service will get you to the care that you need.
And any hospital okay? I mean, the ambulance comes, they just take you. Or are there certain hospitals that are better for stroke treatment?
There are. Cleveland does a very good job with that. You should go to a primary stroke center. There's a huge push nationwide now to make sure that they're doing things within a certain timeline. So when you go to a primary stroke center, they will evaluate you quickly. You should go through the 911 process, and they will follow a sequence to see if you're a candidate for things like a clot-busting drug.
Do they do that themselves, or should, when your loved one gets in the ambulance, do you say, take them to a stroke place, take them to Euclid Hospital?
Usually they know. Usually they know. Yeah, usually they know, especially in a larger city like Cleveland. But clearly, you should, if that question would come up, you would say, I want to go to a primary stroke center.
And so then what happens? So they stabilize you quickly?
They do. They evaluate you in the emergency department, and they usually do a CAT scan quickly. They do a picture of your brain, try to determine if you're a candidate or if you're a person that would benefit from certain treatment. And that timeline is so important. The first 3 hours are critical. If you get there within a certain time frame and they can initiate that treatment, you may be a candidate for the type of treatment that may reverse your stroke completely. So that's very important.
So you can actually have a full recovery from a stroke.
You can. Sometimes you can.
And I assume then, rehab, all that is very important afterwards.
It is. It is. Once you're stabilized and treated in the ED, typically in the emergency department, a group of physicians and healthcare providers will treat you in the hospital, and at some point, many folks are considered for inpatient rehab.
How long is the rehab?
It depends how bad the stroke is. Let me say this, probably about 10% of patients make a full recovery from a stroke, but many people do need rehab, and it would vary maybe between 2 and 4 weeks in an acute rehab facility.
Well, all this is great information. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Time is critical, no question about that. It takes more than a stroke of good luck to recognize and then treat a brain attack. Remember to think fast, F-A-S-T, and then
To
get
find
your
out
loved
more,
one to a
contact
certified
the
stroke
Cleveland
center.
Clinic
My thanks to Dr.
Rehabilitation
Schmidt for
Hospital
joining us
at
today.
Euclid Hospital, 216-692-8668, or www.clevelandclinic.org. Next, we have a prescription to lower your medication costs.
We're Gateway Title, keeping life simple. We can make it simple. We've got everything you need. See how easy selling your home can be. We're Gateway Title. We're keeping life simple.
Did you miss a phone number or a website? Here's your second chance, because we're going to list all that information again. Then I'll be back to tell you how you could save lots of money on your medicines. Your Medicare Part D plan working out? Is there a different plan available that could save you hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars? My law partner, Mike Solomon's here to give us his A-plus advice about Medicare Part D savings. Good to see you, Mike.
Hi, Herman.
So, if we're happy with our Medicare Part D plan right now, any need to even consider switching?
Yes, you may be able to save a lot of money by switching. There's a study shown that 93% of the people could save money. Some of the people covered by this could save money if they switch to a different plan.
Wow, it's a lot.
That's a
All
lot.
right, so what kinds of hidden costs increases or cuts should we be looking for, with our current plan or with a new plan?
Well, first of all, the monthly premiums are probably going to stay around the same and maybe even drop a little bit. So the real savings are other things you can do. Number one, there are three important things to look at. Number one, many plans provide, for example, different tiers for prescription drugs. So let's say $20 for generic, $30 for preferred, and maybe $40 for non-preferred. You need to check and make sure that your drug didn't go from a preferred to a non-preferred, because then you're going to pay more dollars. Number two, you should check to make sure your medicines are still covered by the program, because if they drop out of coverage, then it's going to cost you a fortune to get your prescription drugs paid for. And number three, make sure your drugstore is a preferred provider, because if it's not a preferred provider, then you're going to pay a lot more for your coverage for medicines.
There are so many Part D plans out there, and they vary all over the lot, and it still makes it difficult to compare one to another. How can we find the best plan for our particular needs?
Well, it is very complicated. Fortunately, Medicare on their website, www.medicare.gov, they have a special site. If you go to it, it's Compare Drug and Health Costs. You go there, you input information about the medicines you take and the levels of medicine you take, and that will calculate for you what plan is the best for you.
Are there any limits on changing from one D plan to another?
Well, unfortunately, this year it's a real short time frame. You've got to make the decision to switch by December 7th. Okay, that's pretty quick. Used to be at the end of the year. You had till December 31, but for various reasons they changed it now till December 7th. So that's your deadline.
All right, so go on the Medicare.gov website, put in the information, compare, and figure out where you can save money.
That's exactly right.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. So most Americans are paying more than they need to for their medications. If you're in a Medicare Part D plan, there's a good chance there's a different plan out there with lower costs for you. But you don't have time to waste. As Mike told you, the time for changing plans expires December 7th. As soon as our show's over, get on the computer, check out the Medicare comparison tool, save some money.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for joining us today. Tune in next week. We'll raise the issue of grandmothers raising grandchildren, and we'll offer some grand advice. How can you eat homegrown all winter long? We have a recipe. We'll meet a woman with a new reason to smile, and does visiting the family at the holidays make you feel like a child again? We've got grown-up guidance. Until next week, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.